Friendlies, I forgot to test the sound of this mic when I... Okay, we're fine. We're okay. Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the Bevies, Blades, and Bushcraft live stream where we got bevies. We have blades over there, and we do on occasion discuss bushcrafty things. Tonight, I'm feeling relatively celebratory because I will turn 54 on the 21st of May of this year, and that means that I come at you from the point of view of an elder statesman. I mean, I would have been an elder statesman in like 1496 when people were dead by 40. But anyway, whatever. Here we are. I don't have anything aside from that planned to talk about tonight. I'm just, it was Chris's birthday, and we mentioned that and talked about it and wished him a happy birthday. And I figured it would only be fair for me to do the same to my desk is such a mess. I'm sorry if you hear me moving stuff around, but it's because, holy crap. I'm just trying to clear the deck a little bit here. So I have tea because I always have tea. The celebratory beer is a Lagabière oatmeal stout à l'avoine. Oh, it's 5.5%. Just a little higher end than a typical Canadian beer. Water, barley malt, oats malt, hops, yeast. Contains barley and oat. That's your allergy warning. So I'm going to give this an open. That was painful. There we go. There we go. And then at whiskey time, later, whatever. It's going to be this. The Benromic contrast. This is the organic. Ooh, I was about to pour it into this. So, without much further ado, we shall get started with the usual housekeeping. That's the part where I say that if you're listening to us and watching us, time shifted to tomorrow or next week or whatevs. Look at that black beer. Welcome after the fact. I love knowing that you're watching, even though you're not able to participate in this live chat. To me, happy birthday to me. Oh, that's an oatmeal stout already. Alrighty. Yes, so, I mean, as I was saying, if you're watching us time shifted, welcome. I love seeing the comments sometimes appear in the doobly-doo down under the video. I love knowing that you're watching the content and enjoying it, I hope, even though it's after the fact. If at any point tonight, anyone who's watching absolutely loves what's going on and want to give me a little birthday cheer, then you can throw me a smiley thumb. If at any point tonight you kind of hate what's going on, but you still want to throw me some birthday cheer, you can throw me a frowny thumb, because you know what? It all counts as interaction, baby. And if you'd like to take a more active role in keeping the channel open, the light on, and all that stuff, and you are not yet a member, I invite you to right-click on the join button, open it in another tab so that you don't miss the greatness that is this live stream, as you explore the 2 tiers of membership that are available to you, as well as what each tier gets you for your hard-earned money. Which reminds me, I don't know if it is live yet, but I did just upload another silly little members only video. So yeah, for those of you who are not yet members, the members only videos are not necessarily bushcraft related. Fairly often it's like Cody and I do like a spicy tasting challenge, or like I'll make mocktails with the squeak or whatever. But anyway, there we are. I will now check the chat and see who's kicking back with us, who's saying hi, who's saying what's up, who's wow, Okay, already many comments. Starting at 8:48, which is just as I put this thing up, we had Mr. Country Boy saying, "Yay Tuesday." I also think "Yay Tuesday" because I love doing this live stream every bit as much as some of you love attending. I just got an ad. Who just got an ad? I just got an ad. Oof, it's a 3D rendered ad from the census. Why are they still rolling the census ads? That's done. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to get too distracted by that. So yes, and for those of you who don't know, oh my God, the advertising is awful. Cut it the hell out. Sorry, guys. I got to get a little salty. Yeah, so Country Boy is a channel mod and a channel hero. Then we had Mr. Canadian popping in like 3 minutes later with the usual string. Oh, come on, fool. There we go. Technical difficulties. I'm skipping the second ad that I'm getting. What else? Canadian sent me a couple of pictures of a knife that I believe you said your cousin made for you. Handmade from a lawn tractor leaf spring and something called a bodark tree from his buddy's ranch in Texas. So, and obviously some nice little leather work. Let me turn that down a little bit because I feel that the color is blowing out. Okay. Is that better? Sure is. Looks like a little neck knife size. But what I find enchanting is look at that blade shape. I don't own anything with that blade shape. It never occurred to me to, oh, no, one of my spoon carving knives is that blade shape. But I don't know, it looks like solid work to me. I really would love to grind a knife from like a file or a leaf spring or something someday. In fact, I started one. I cut one out of a file, but I haven't ground down the because I don't have the proper tools. Who's drinking beer with me for my special day in 2 days, 2 or 3 days? What is it? We're the 19th today, right? 19th, so in 2 days. There's Christy popping in saying hi. Christy is a channel hero. Hi to you, Christy, and to Steve, of course. Oh, their Canadian is saying that he sent me a pic of a neck knife your cousin made from a lawn tractor leaf spring, and the wood is from a bodark tree on my buddy's Texas ranch. Oh my land, sorry. Somebody's absolutely. Whoops. I don't know what just happened. Whatever. I'm gonna ignore my phone. Yes, it's a very cool knife. I think so. I'm imagining it's like yay long, right? Neck knife, little blade. Neck knives are great for a great many things, for sure. I don't think you really want a little neck knife as your main bushcraft camping knife, but they can be very practical for a lot of tasks. Absolutely a lot of tasks around the camp or around the ranch or around the workshop even. Christy says, hip hip hooray, it is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. It's live stream night. Country Boy says, Tuesdays are the best. I believe you are right, mister. I believe you are right. Hey, there's Mr. Peanut Sugar. How you doing, Chris? My birthday brother. Was there someone else? Yes, Serge's brother. Thank you kindly, Destiny. And happy, well, whenever the heck your birthday is, happy birthday to you. I don't remember when. Bip bap boo. I do not know why I do that. I believe that little nonsense singing that I do constantly, I believe that's a tick. Chris says, I'll be a little late at the yard in Los Angeles loading Okay, you're loading up to head out for Christie's neck of the woods. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Hang out with us when you can. Okay, you guys are all just saying hi to each other, so I'm just gonna skip on past that. Peanut Trucker is sending me 3 cakes. I would gladly eat 3 cakes, and then I would probably hate myself for days afterwards. But it would be so glorious at the time. 54. 55. Do any of you guys remember that doofy little video, that YouTube video? Girlfriend's age 55. Canadian says we cranked on the air conditioner today. It was humid as a urinal. That is not an image that I treasure. Yeah, I agree. That's a quotable quote, all right. Bum, 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 bum. Hi there, Mr. Mike. How are you doing tonight? How's the weather down there? Ooh, I forgot to check my weather today. So today in Montreal, we had a high of 28 degrees. That's degrees Canadian, and a low of 18 degrees Canadian. So hot stankin' day. It's nice and cool in the basement because it's a dank little cave, but upstairs it's like, ugh. It was a 3 t-shirt day. I understand exactly what you're saying. Absolutely. Yeah, everyone's still sort of saying hi. I tell you people for free, my arm is killing me tonight. Like I do all this work with the physiotherapist, and then I play a gig, and it's like I take 2 steps back. It's really freaking hurting. Destiny says, "What can you tell us about turning 54? Insights? I wish I knew, etc." No, I don't know much about anything. I think the stuff that I was not comfortable with at 20, I've kind of. How can I make that more concrete? I think I've said this to a couple of you before, or maybe in a live stream, but I am very well aware of the fact that I have less time that way than I did that way. And so there's a lot of stuff that I just don't hold on to anymore. Like I'll have a raging argument with someone, or like Cody and I will just go at each other. And then after it's over, I'm over it. I'm back to my life. I'm not keeping that. I'm not nurturing that anger because that's giving someone else power over me, which I'm not willing to do. And I don't want to waste what time I have left because I have no idea how much time I have left. I know it doesn't equal how much time is behind me. And so I don't hold on to a whole lot of stuff like that. Like if I'm angry about something, it's fierce, but it's short. It's short and it's sharp. And then I just get on with my day. That's not the same as immediately forgiving or anything, right? I move past it. And also, I've become comfortable with the concept that forgiving someone doesn't mean giving them the keys back, doesn't mean letting them back in, right? Forgiving them is separate from opening myself up to whatever the hell they did again. Forgiving means no longer feeling negativity towards them, right? Being pleasant with them, if we see each other, but not inviting them back in the same way as it used to be, right? Those are 2 different things. Whereas it used to be like, I forgive you, and then you're back to being friends. I'm like, I forgive you, but I'm protecting my peace. I think about that exact phrase about protecting my peace a lot these days, a lot. That kind of informs the way I view the world, the way I interact with people, is that I really am, you know, I want to protect my peace. I want peace and quiet. I don't want to be dealing with crap all the time. And, maybe sometimes that means stopping someone, like, boom, right away, saying whatever it takes to just get them to leave you alone. And sometimes it means not necessarily answering back if someone says something dumb, but it's kind of beneath you to get involved, right? Because if you're trying to argue with an idiot, that's just two idiots. So I mean, none of that was deep or anything, but it's just that's the way I'm trying to live my life these days. Okay, and now we're finally at 9 o'clock in the chat. I am way behind you guys because you guys got started early. We have Marcus popping to say happy Tuesday all. No, howdy all, and happy Tuesday to me. Happy Tuesday to you as well. There's Paul. I'll ping you later. I'm waiting on something in the mail, and then I'll call you and we'll meet for lunch. Huggy says, "Oh, it'll be 54 again." Paul saying hi to everybody. Apparently the sound is good. Hit that thumbs up. It's my pre-birthday. Say it's your birthday. There's Charles and Annie. How you doing? Oh man, this arm is just killing me. So what I'm supposed to do is take this tennis ball and be like massaging the strained muscle. Forgot to bring it to work with me today, so I was just sort of doing this, but my hands are really dry. So I like doing this, and I'm like, I'm gonna just by this friction, I'm gonna burst into flame here. So went and got some hand cream. So yeah, how are things down your way, Charles and Annie, or just Charles? Bam, bam, bam. Everyone's saying hi. Up, look who's here. How you doing, mister? How's the weather down there? 54 is young. That's the way I see it. And my wife clearly does too, because she says I'm 8. And she's not wrong. Or at least not completely wrong. I heard this thing on I think it was TikTok or something. There was there was a woman like, why are men blah blah blah? How come they're, or why is my husband still playing with Legos or something? I would totally do that. There's a Lego set. It's this massive Millennium Falcon, and in Canada, when it first came out, it was like $900, and now it's like $1,050. If I had a grand lying around and I could do it without feeling guilt, I would buy that in a Montreal minute. It would take me a month to build. There's a guy at my work who, not on my team, he's in one of the dev teams, who bought that, and he built it at work, probably because there was no room to have it at home or something. And it took him a solid month and a half, just sort of like staying an hour after work to build. Let me see if I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Lego.ca shop by theme. Man, I tell you something, Star Wars Lego is way too expensive, but I still buy it. I mean, the $1,000 Millennium Falcon is absolutely too rich for my blood, but I still kind of want it. No, Mandalorian Starfighter do not want. Razor Crest, actually, that's pretty cool, but New Republic X-Wing, no, I'm a classicist. There we go. $1049.99 Canadian. Let me just show you guys this. I mean, half of you probably already know. Where did I put my... There it is. Share the screen. Oh, I can't share the screen across. So I'll just drop the I'll just drop the link. Yeah, I'm using a different browser to look at the Lego than I am in this, and for some reason it doesn't like to cross browsers because I don't know. Because computer stuff is stupid. But yeah, I saw it in the store and it's huge. It's like this big. If ever I get a promotion at work, that's how I'll celebrate it. Or a $1,000 bottle of whiskey. My outlook on life is very much colored by the fact that I am the Star Wars generation, right? When Star Wars came out in 1977, I was like 5 years old, right? So that film was integral to my childhood. Empire Strikes Back even more so. You know, by the time Return of the Jedi came out, I remember my grade at school. We all went to the theater, to the cinema to watch it. You know, those first 3 Star Wars films very much colored my worldview in some ways, I guess. And even though, look, they're dated. They're dated. Some of the tropes are kind of silly. Some of the dialogue is absolutely not great. But they're still my top science fiction movies. Those in like The Wrath of Khan, right? There's a couple of Star Trek films that I hold in high regard as well. But you know, what boy in my generation didn't want to live on the Millennium Falcon? And a bunch of us still kind of do. Anyway, why was I talking about that? What got me onto that? Somebody remind me, because I have no idea. Oh, I'm still looking at it. So that Lego costs within the ballpark. It's a little more than the Johnny Walker and Sons King George the Fifth, which I believe is like $1,000 as well. I cannot find my mouse. Oh, there we are. Okay, let me go back to where we were. Bip de bip de bip bip de boo. I'm trying to find where the heck we were. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Okay. Okay, I've okay, yes. Why was I talking about that? That's really weird. I have no idea why I brought that up. Country Boy says, oatmeal stout. That's not a drink, it's a breakfast. It is definitely a loaf of beer. Absolutely. Guinness kind of is as well, but like an oatmeal stout is even more so. Oatmeal's good for you. Tea, beer, and whiskey. Absolutely. Hey, speaking of things that we consume, what does the charcuterie board outlook look like tonight? I used look too often in that phrasing. It's too close to each other. I hated that. I'm trying to sort of scroll past the hello, hi kind of stuff because I'm trying to sort of catch up. There's Mr. Tenenbaum. How you doing? Mr. Tenenbaum and Outdoor Dauber and I were talking about bikes. I believe it was yesterday or today. Which reminds me that this summer I kind of want to get my bike out. I want to bike a lot more than I did last year. What I would like to do is take a course on, like, maybe not full on bike maintenance, but enough that I can do my own setup at the beginning of the year. Do my bike and the girls, because otherwise it's like $600 to get the all three of our bikes done. I was going to say four, but I mean the squeak has always sort of been in a trailer behind me or on like a seat on the back of the Madame's bike. And it reminded me, because we were talking about the price of bikes at one point. So like my Cannondale, I have a Cannondale Profit that I bought 2017, I think, or something like that. Maybe 2014. A while ago, because I haven't been mountain biking since partway through the pregnancy with Cody. She's 14 now. Like the Madame and I used to mountain bike a fair amount, and we stopped when Cody was coming around. But anyway, so when I bought that bike, I believe it was like $2,700, and the blue book on it right now is like $400. It's almost not worth selling. Okay, you guys are getting ads. Where is my? There it is. Do I celebrate with a gâteau? Yes, we generally do. Generally, we do. Somewhere, I have a picture of myself sitting down next to my 40th birthday cake. I think I mentioned to you guys my 40th birthday before, but it was like the birthday that I had bought myself my really expensive base for, which I would show you guys again because I love showing it off, but it's in a case there and I can't be arsed. And that's the one where the Madame bought me a 3-foot long cake. She had a cake maker. She gave her a picture of my base and had her make a replica of it as a cake. That's probably the best birthday cake I've ever had. That was crazy cool. And that birthday was upstairs at Hurley's Irish Pub. And I had no idea that the boys in my band had set us up on stage. Like Jazz said, tonight we're going out to a movie and then we're going to go for supper. Where do you want to go? Hurley's? I said, yeah, of course I want to go to Hurley's. Come on. And I had no idea that this place was going to be full of friends and family and my boys on stage. Never gonna have a birthday like that again. But yeah, so we'll probably have a cake. I feel no need to really celebrate that much. I feel life is kind of tough right now. It's hard to stop and catch your breath. So, like, putting all the stuff I need to do on hold to do a party or something seems a little. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway. Homie in the house. How's it going, homie? Got any cool new stuff lately? Just checking my phone just in case he fired me some pictures or something. I feel like I really missed an opportunity. A couple of days ago, the Madame said, "So what do you want for your birthday?" She said, "I have some Fjallraven stuff picked out, but is there anything you want?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. Give me some money towards this pen or this like sticker printer." But if I wasn't always afraid of seeming like I'm being greedy, I would have said, give me some money towards the iPad I've been dying to buy. Like, I see it. I know exactly what I want. But it's just too expensive. while we're paying for, this month we have to buy Cody's school books for at school, and it's just like I feel too guilty to ask for everything I want is too expensive to say buy me this for my birthday, right? But some things, why is my phone not on silent mode? Sorry, people. But like some things, it feels greedy to even just ask for a little money towards. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but also I'm 54. Why am I still getting gifts? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is this still happening? Give me a cupcake with a candle in it. It feels less like celebrating and more it's just sort of like, whew, we made it to another one at this point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Homie in the house. Hey, there's Mr. Russell. How you doing? Everybody loves you. Right on back. Everybody loves Russell. That's like a B-list version of that TV show. Everybody loves Raymond. Yes. So okay, so we're at the point. Oh my god, I am so late. I'm sorry, people. I'm 20 minutes late on the comments. Um, it looks a little bit like, what the hell's that blade shape called? Is that a cliff? North Cliff? No, that's a street in Montreal. Warncliffe. Is it a Warncliffe, or is it just sort of like a Warncliffe like shape? And what the hell is a Warncliffe for? I'm just going with it and hoping I'm using the right term. I once called something a Scandi grind and was very rudely corrected and told that, my good sir, is a saber grind. I said, okay, maybe I don't know as much as I thought, but at least I can recognize that. But like, what? Like there are knife grinds. No, not grinds, because it's more than just the grind. It's the shape of the blade as well. There are blades that I can absolutely see immediately what that's for. Like everybody knows what a fish knife looks like, right? Like to fillet and whatever, you're cleaning off a fish that you just took out of the water. Like that is obvious. The usefulness is obvious. Um, it's obvious when you've got a knife that's really made for skinning game, right? The how and the why of a wood lore is very clear right off the bat, and they're gorgeous, by the way. They're gorgeous. Never going to be able to afford a wood lore, like a name brand wood lore, or even that beautiful jack lore work, or even an adventure sworn. I mean, that guy makes some really good quality wood lores as well. It would feel weird buying an American made wood lore, because that is the most Britannia knife design ever. Like that would be like buying a British made Nesmith. I mean, the Nesmith or the or even the Kephart. Like those are two, especially the Nesmith. It's like that could only come from the States. Maybe that's because it did, and so I just see it that way. But like the wood lore blade shape, I see as being fundamentally British. The wood lore is like the 303 British, whereas the Nesmith or whatever, that's a 30-06, right? Americana, Britannia, the Canadian belt knife, that's a Canadian knife. Hilariously, also like 303 British, but anyways, I'm getting distracted. Sorry. Oh, Tenenbaum says it is Warncliffe-ish. So I'm not wrong. Countryboy says Russell. Destiny says Russell. Homie Homie likes the knife. I do too. I think it's just really cool. But yeah, like what's a Warncliffe style knife made for? Like I'd like to know what the history behind that blade shape is. Canadian says they cut the branch off a tree in southeast Texas 2 years ago. How did you get the wood north of the border? Right, it's Happy Wednesday where you guys are. That's true. That's very true. It's okay, buddy. Don't worry about it. When it gets here, we'll crack it online. I have an advert. Who else has an ad? Who's got an advertisement? Oh, Budarkers Osage Orange. Okay. Oh wow, that's a hard wood. How is that to work with? Bet you that's tough on the tools. I have never even held a piece of that in person. Where is David tonight? That's an interesting question, isn't it? Oh, right. It was Sean's birthday a couple of days ago. That's true. What can I say? May's a good month to be born. It's pretty out. Summer's coming on. Destiny says, I predict that Jess will get a new journal, some special alcohol, a cake, maybe a knife, and for sure a squirrel diffuser. You know, I'm not surrounded by people who get my interests, I guess. Like, there's no one in my life who's going to buy me a journal, or like a fancy new fountain pen or something. Alcohol, yeah, for sure. I don't even think even a knife. I don't even think. Squirrel diffuser, is that the same as a coffee diffuser? I think she means a 22. We don't talk about boomsticks on this channel, Jess. I'm deeply sorry, sir. I'm sorry. We'll let it go this time. Your wife has 2 chipmunks that reside on our back porch. She hand feeds. She has them as buddies for now. I hope that there is not a Cooper's hawk anywhere in your neighborhood. Peanut Trucker wrote a book on forgiveness. He sure diggity goddamn did. Wow, what was that? Oh, magpies, eh? Yeah. Out there on the prairies, them's magpies is everywhere. I think they're enchanting. My fiddler is just like, yes, they're very pretty, but oh my God, they're a nuisance. What's cool about magpies is how they have to make 2 entrances in, like they make these little nests with 2 entrances because of that long tail. They can't turn around, so they have to go in one side and out the other. I think that's pretty cool. Canadian says the wife is okay. Thursday, you take her to hospital, have a mask made, and her MRI, and a 2 scan before her treatments start. So you're just wending your way through the process, eh? Hey, there's Mr. David. We were just asking about you. Yep, most of us are nerdy. That is the truth. Absolutely. I think Destiny may have been talking exactly about what I'm saying, but hey, cannot even touch the squirrels within here in Montreal. Peopleettes, nerds, both terms are fine. Very hot down there, but you finally had rain last night. So when it's really, really hot like that, does the rain sort of cool you off, or does it create like a hot, humid situation? Like finally rain, so the grass is growing or the flowers or whatever, but oh my God, it's so sticky around here. Or does it actually cool the place off a little bit? There's me putting the link to that beautiful Millennium Falcon. I'm going to own that one day, I think. Destiny worships at the feet of physical perfection. The Roman gladiators would be inspired. Um, I know you're being hilarious there, but I kind of doing something similar in that, because like I went to art school as a kid and then I went to design school. Like I like beautiful stuff. You know, I've mentioned this before, how, you know, if I have something, like if I get a tool that it just gives me the fizz to look at it and to feel it, I'm going to use it, right? Um, like to me, I don't think that form above function is any good. But if you can get good functionality with something that is beautifully designed, like um, my Grand's first Brux axes, there is not an axe more gorgeous to me than the GB Small Forest axe. If I could afford the full size Forest axe, I would have one because it's even better. But they're just way too rich for my blood now. But I just the beauty comes from the fact that they were designed by people who knew how an axe is supposed to feel and knew how to make the cheeks of the axe so that it would blast the wood apart rather than get stuck in it. And like the knowledge informed the design, but the design is still elegant. Elegant as hell. You know, and that follows through to most of the things that I like most. I think that you're probably including Ray in that, and I am not, because, you know, I think he's a great looking guy, but I do swing right-handed rather than left-handed, shall we say. Not that there's anything wrong with swinging the other way. Puppies were afraid of the sounds. Oh, so it was like a big rain, a big boomy rain. People saying hi. They said it was $10,000. Gotta get a hearing aid. I need to get hearing aids as well. It's just they're $10,000 here. If my hearing gets just a little bit worse, the Quebec government will subvention. That is not a word in English. Will not fund them, but like not fund them completely, but will. I'm looking for what subventionné is in English. Will they'll be more affordable. Oh my land, Christy, what did you do? Thank you very much. But seriously, you guys don't have to do that. I mean, but I'm grateful. Just you guys don't have to do that. Bam, 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 bam. You need a Ray aid. Hey, Destiny knows what she knows, right? Excuse me. Country Boy sent me my present last week after the live was so rudely interrupted. Okay, hey, thank you again for that. But I have no idea what happened there. No idea. Because this app was still broadcasting. Like this app didn't stop. Something happened between the app and YouTube, because I absolutely stopped on YouTube. I didn't notice for a good like 6 seconds. I was like, what going on? But I don't, and I have not found out anything about it. Anything. I'm salty about it because that's not the way I like my lives to end. You know, like I feel that we weren't finished. I feel that there were still more jokes to be told in the side chat and all that stuff. And YouTube was just like, you know what? Peace out. Yeah, that really bugged me. That really did. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be like, hey, whatever. You know, nothing touches me. But I mean, it's. I'm not letting it consume me, and I didn't let it consume me then either. I was just like, what the hell just happened? And I tried to get it back, and it just wasn't. It was like, okay, great, you know. And then I just sort of got ready for bed and went to bed. But where I didn't quite get past that is I'm always wondering at the back of my head if tonight it's going to happen again, especially now that I've just said that. Knocking on wood here. That was so weird. There's a couple of weird things with this app. Like, you know how every now and again suddenly the entire side chat will, like, the early part will just sort of go and get pasted, and so then I'm like scrolling madly to get back to where we were because suddenly I'm back to the, you know, the little posts from 30 minutes ago. Like, and I'm paying for this, right? I pay for this every month. Like if it was a free thing, I'd be like, okay, those are the slings and arrows when you're not paying for it. But I am paying for it. And when you do the exchange, it's not pennies. That does not surprise me at all. That Park Tool would have a ton of them. I should probably get a good set of bike tools. I have a stand. Like I used to change my own tires and use it for like when I got back from the mountain, I would like hose down the bike and scrub it all up and then re-oil the chain and stuff. And it was good to have that stand for that kind of stuff. But I'd love to get some more involved tools and start doing um, my own tune-ups, my own setups at the start of every year. You know, maybe change the brake cables and stuff. Yeah, so my Cannondale has a lefty. Very cool fork. Can you even really call it a fork when it's only got one side? Cannondale, I don't know if they still do. Like I had to stop reading mountain biking magazines because of the money I was throwing at my bikes that I just didn't need to be doing, you know? So I don't know much about anything up to date. Like I don't know if Cannondale is still making lefties or what. But I thought the engineering on the lefty was very cool because I did some drops, and not big drops, right? It was a trail bike, not like a dedicated downhill bike. And like to me, a big drop was like a foot and a half. I wasn't doing like big, but that fork never gave up. The head shock is pretty cool too, though. Like what I like about them is that they come at bike design almost kind of out of left field. But what I'm not sure if I like, I'm not sure that I like about that is I don't know if they were coming out of left field because they saw problems with standard fork design, or they were just trying to have an identity thing. Because those two things are not created equal to me. Hi, Grace. How you doing? You were talking about women on TikTok. Why is my husband playing with Legos? And then you said, oh, yeah. Okay, so the whole thing, what I was trying to get to about that, I wasn't trying to go down the rabbit hole of, I would like this Lego, but I cannot afford it. What I was trying to say was that it was one of those where somebody stitches to reply. And it was a creator that I used to watch a lot, but I mean, I'm not a dedicated TikTok watcher or creator. And he said something that really resonated with me. He said, because we don't grow up. He said, because, because you're like, well, how come men, when something about, growing up. And he just said, because we don't grow up. We just grow old. And that was the harshest dose of what felt like epic truth that I got that entire week. And that still, pops into my head sometimes. Like I think of guys like Adam Savage, right? From Mythbusters and now from Tested, about and how like in his workshop and in the stuff he does, the guy's 8 and his career has allowed him to do that. And I can't even be mad about that. Do you know what I'm saying? That guy does stuff that looks so damned fun. I wouldn't want to do all of it. I'm not a model maker, right? Like, remember, this guy came from the circuitous route of being a model maker for movies. He made some earlier in his career. He made some models for one of the Star Wars prequel films. He did like a lot of stuff, and the way he met Jamie Heineman was, you are a big spider. Stay over there and we're okay. Was working at Jamie's studio on, building things. And then when Jamie got approached to do Mythbusters, which most people don't realize is actually an Australian show. The production company and the producers and everyone above them were in Australia. But Jamie had them bring Adam on. And that's hilarious because those two will probably never work together again. And even when they did, they never just went out for supper as friends. They were not friends. They did not sit down to supper without it being like a large group of their TV crew or whatever. And the way Adam talks about Jamie is very respectful. He clearly respected Jamie's abilities and his approach, but there was also frustration there as well. They frustrated each other a lot. It turns out. No idea what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, because it's sort of like the best case version of that philosophy that men at this point, and my generation and lower probably, that we don't grow up, we just grow old. And like I never thought of it that way, but it just rang so damn true. So true. I said, you stay over there and we're okay, buddy. Charcuterie board. Various toasts with jams, various spreads, some melted cheese samples. Actually, that sounds pretty damn good. Very good. Tonight I made my bang bang chicken, and the missus made potatoes and green beans. Mark is asking, what is the most sought after base model or manufacturer? Okay, that is a good question because it very much depends. A lot of people want it to be like a Fender Jazz bass because that's the second most iconic electric bass model. The first most iconic is the Fender Precision bass. This one's a Squire, but this is the model. This is my daughter's. This is Cody's. Okay. That's what it looks like. Okay. Basses are a lot longer than guitars. Okay. So one pickup, it's called a split pickup. Okay. That pick guard shape. Okay. Two knobs, tone, volume, no battery, passive, absolutely iconic bass model, right? This is Camille's. I'm right back. This one is mine. Okay. Oh, so during the St. Patrick's run, some young woman walked up to the stage and said, "Can I put a sticker on you?" I said, "Put it there." So she did, and now I can't get it off. So wow, do I feel smart now? But anyways, this model bass was. It didn't look like this. The original version of this model bass was the first widely commercially available electric bass guitar, and sorry, if you listen to Motown, or like what was his name? Like Booker T and the MGs, or like 1950s stuff with an electric bass. All those, that's that bass. Okay. Even today, like if I'm listening to a song, I know that's a P bass. A little more mid-range, not quite as bottom end, but it's a ball of grease. Very mid-rangey, very kind of very present in the mix. And incidentally, for the longest time, even guys who are famous for using something like a Music Man or whatever in the studio, they were using a Fender P because that's the bass that sound engineers were taught to mix for. So if you walked into a studio with like some active bass or something, they'd be like, oh, take that bass from the corner, please. And it was always going to be like a Fender P, and then like a Fender Jazz, right? A Jazz is a little more sizzle at the high end, and a little more thunder at the low. Hold on. But people want that because both of those are iconic. Okay, the Music Man Stingray, that's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. On stage for the longest time, he played a Stingray. There's the Rickenbacker. That's a very weird looking thing, but that might be the bass that sits at the magic spot. It's a production bass, but they're almost priced like boutique. Not quite, but they're high priced, and every bass that rolls off their production line is sold. Period. Geddy Lee played a Rickenbacker. They've got this weird look. Couple of other very desirable brands are in New York City. There's Fedora. No, there isn't. There's Fodera. Sorry. With a Fodera, you hit 10 grand really easily without even trying. Oh, they're gorgeous though. Handmade, small team. Um, there's a brand from Chicago that's a little less, but still pretty desirable, called Lakeland. I used to have a Lakeland. Um, and one brand with a lot of very famous fans, and absolutely rabid fans, is this. This is a Sadowski, from they're in Queens. Have they moved? Yeah, no, they're in Queens. They used to be in Brooklyn, another very small shop. I think I've shown this base off on a live before. I chose every piece of wood that went into this, and this is the base that got turned into a cake for my 40th birthday. I bought it for myself for my 40th birthday. I did have to save up for my 35th birthday for it, but I knew what I wanted. So this is the Sadowski take on a Fender jazz bass. So the reason why I told you that the jazz bass has a little sizzle on the top and thunder at the bottom is because where these two pickups are, this one is very low end heavy because of where where it is in the course of the string. Whereas at the bridge here, it's a lot more trebly, because if you play close to the bridge, it's a much tighter sound here than it is here. These are crazy expensive, and very desirable. This one does not travel with me, right? I play this one here in town, and it goes nowhere because the insurance on it is crazy. When I bought this one, it was $5,000, but now they kind of start at $5,000 US rather than Canadian. And now this has become a brand where you hit 10 grand kind of relatively easily. The Gibson Thunderbird. I used to have one of those. Had to sell it to pay bills. I don't play 4-string anymore, but part of me was like, if I could have that one back, I would totally take it. The Thunderbird has kind of an interesting shape to it. I'm trying to think of a famous Thunderbird player, and I can't think of someone. Oh yeah, what's his name? Who used to play bass for what were they called? Listen to the music. Whoa, who was that? Was it the Doobies? Was it the Doobie Brothers? Their first bass player. He played a Thunderbird. But like, I don't know what would be like. I think in some ways that Rickenbacker is the most sought after, just because every one that they make is sold. Same is true with like Sadowski, but like a lot of what they're making is to order, right? Fodera, everything they make practically is to order, so it kind of doesn't count. Fender has been the biggest player for so long that every time there's a hiccup in the market, they really feel it. And so lately they've been putting out some really wild new designs because they're trying to recapture dwindling market share. Look, a lot of kids who are growing up and doing music, they're using pads instead of actual basses and guitars now, right? So Gibson and Fender are both really feeling the heat on that, and they're both trying to find ways to get people interested in playing actual instruments. That sounds snooty, but like old school instruments. I think that's exactly what happened. Lego led to the Millennium Falcon as an apartment. Absolutely. What a place to live. every time I got in from the office, I would have a big floppy dog, and I'd say, Chewy, I'm home. Beto, how you doing? Whoops. Yes. How you doing, Beto? How's things all the way down there? How's the weather? Everyone's saying hi. How late am I here? It's my land. Oh, shnikes. It's 10:08. It's whiskey time. So this has been the Benromic Organic, the Benromic Contrast Origins. What the hell? Contrast is the organic. It's the only one of this line that I've tasted. Paul, if you're around, what do you think of this line? Have you tried this one or any of the others? So when they changed their liveries to this, I sort of thought, wow, that's a Soviet-looking label. But I've really come around to liking it. Because it is nicer than their old one, in my opinion. The other one kind of looked kind of 90s or 80s. Oh, my land, the honeybee in town. Don't always get to stop in from work schedule nowadays, but glad to drop by and say hello to all. Hi there. How's it going? Oh, I have an ad. Yes, as Tenenbaum says, opinions vary on that issue. Yeah. Like, for me, I'm very Fender oriented in the designs that I like, except where Fodera is concerned. There's a Fodera model that I would really love. Really, really love. Fodera is famous because Victor Wooten, his Yin Yang bass is a Fodera, and if you are even remotely aware of the bass guitar, you know who Victor Wooten is. If you know like bands like Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, he was their bass player forever. I think he might still be. Like I think they sort of reconstitute these days. Richard Bona, when he went to New York, he got hired out of Cameroon, I think. He's an African jazz bass player. Now he lives in New York. He teaches at somewhere. But he walked into he got brought to the States, big ticket job, and so he walked into a music store, one of those famous sort of music stores down there, and he said, "Give me the best bass you got." And the guy took this Fodera down off the wall, olive wood top, which is just beautiful. 5-string. I don't love everything about his model. In fact, I would not buy his model, but that became sort of like the core of his sound for a long, long time. He plays something else now. But man, they're just exquisite. I got to play one once and I was like, oh, I should not have done that because I will never, ever be able to get these things out of my head. But they're really expensive. Like Fodera, man, there's a couple of models that are like 30 grand. What I'm interested in would not be anywhere near that price. Like I priced out one for me and it was actually a little under 10, but that's still a lot of money because that's American. And I don't play enough to justify that. So it's a dream bass for me. But yeah, a lot of people are into sort of the Fender look, for sure. But Rickenbacker fans are rabid about those. Tinbom says that Google AI summary suggests that Wharncliffes are for precision cutting. I could see that because the only Wharncliffe I have it's a spoon carving knife, right? And I almost never see them anywhere. I think I saw one once in a leather shop. Tim says, a Warncliffe blade is designed for precision cutting, draw cuts, and utility tasks. It features a straight edge and a spine that curves down to meet the tip, applying pressure where needed. I see the logic for that statement. Per a Reddit post. And Canadian likes the way it feels in the hand as well. I know. You know why, Chrissy? Is because I was like pretending to be all interesting and stuff. So let me just pound back the rest of this. Though there's almost none left. And then to clear the planet, not to clear the planet, to clear the palate, I need to say that tea is a good drink. That's obnoxious, eh? There. Subsidize. Yes, because I think we were talking about the hearing aid things. Yes, subsidize. That's what I'm looking for. Jim in the house. Hearing y'all till I get home. Safe drive. Safe drive, Mr. Jim. Oh, who's getting buffering? I did not notice. Sometimes the buffering happens on my end, and sometimes it can happen like in someone's area because of whatever their local situation is. But like now I'm looking at my YouTube page to make sure that I'm not buffering. So, whiskey time. I do not know if this is natural color. Made by hand for genuine character. That doesn't mean anything. Exclusively first fill cask matured. Also not what I'm looking for. Handmade at the Benromic Distillery. I don't care. Natural color and non-chill filtered. Oh, come on, fool. Epic win. Most important words on a label. Well, that and like 46%. Oh my God, it's 46%. I was just pulling a number above 45 out of the ether. It's very caramelly, very sweet, but also a big oak spice. There's that marzipan thing or that nuttiness there for sure. Touch of espresso at the very back, which I get with virtually all scotches. That espresso thing, little green apple, just a touch, something biscuity. That's probably the malt. Caramel from the American oak, vanilla from the American oak as well. American oak brings that for sure. Whereas like a sherry cask is going to be European oak. That's going to be more dark fruits from the sherry, but European oak tends to be a little spicier in certain ways. Sherry whiskeys also tend to have a lot of sherry whiskeys do sometimes tend to have a certain sulfur note. I haven't sipped on this one in many months. So, there's almost like a menthol thing on the finish. Like, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Heat to get the sticker off. Which sticker? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Oh, Because I'm so far behind. Yes, the sticker on the pick guard on my P bass. Yeah, I might do that. Cool instrument. Yeah, I used to have some basses, but I got to the point where there were basses that just never came out. And if an instrument is sitting on the rack and never coming out, someone out there in the world will love it and play it the way it deserves to be done and the way they will like having it. And so like I had a lovely Lakeland that I never played, so I sold it. My Thunderbird I didn't sell for that reason. That I sold because I wasn't doing well and the bills had to be paid. So I sold it for like, I think I only sold it for like $1,000. Yeah, that one still hurts. And the thing is that's a Gibson, right? So they're heavy. They're really fragile. I had a friend who playing in a local band here called the Sherlocks. They were like a 60s revival band. Then they sort of transitioned, like their lead singer or whatever his name was, like discovered Jane's Addiction and like we got to change, and they really changed. But I don't remember any of these people's names, but their bass player, they were recording an album and he had a Thunderbird and he put it down on a chair to go out for a dart and it fell and the headstock snapped off. And the headstocks snap off the Gibson Thunderbird like you guys would not believe. The good news is the nature of headstock repair is that once you've glued it back on, it's stronger than it was before. So it wasn't like the end of his bass, but it's not a cheap repair. That's for damn sure. Let me see if I can find a picture of the Gibson. No, I've stepped off screen. I've like been. Let me look for a picture. Forget it. I'm just gonna keep talking. Oh yes, so like I've off gassed everything except those two. If like if I were to buy another bass at this point, it would have to be because there's a hole in my toolbox that I really want to fill. There is a hole in my toolbox that I really want to fill. It's just a little expensive to fill it. Like I don't have a fretless. I used to have a fretless, but I'm not good enough to play a fretless without a lined fretboard. So I sold that off. And there's a fretless bass maker that I would really like to buy something from, but he's like a two-man shop, so they're expensive as hell. But you know, I'm in no hurry. I may never fill that hole, or I may someday just buy a more pedestrian 5-string fretless, which is fine as well. But I may never. I would play fretless on like 2 songs, so I don't feel that I need to add that to my toolbox. It's just something I kind of want at some point. For the Fodera, that doesn't fill a hole in my toolbox. That is purely, this is exquisite, so I want it. Do you know what I'm saying? So cannot justify, especially for what they cost. Yes, it was the doobies that I was thinking about. Whoa, listen to the music. You know what? You know what? Oops. Wrong window. I'm going to drop the music video for that song. Doobies, listen to the music. The one from Top Pop, I think. Just give me a sec here. I wonder, like, I look at these super vintage videos and like, how did they get any sound out of those tiny mics? You know? All right, music video dropped. Oh, wait a minute. Remove that because that is a tracker. Okay. So one of those guys is playing a Gibson Thunderbird. Mine was not Sunburst. Mine was black. Whoops. Yes, I have now finished the beer and I have started the drive. Hey, Christy, what are you drinking tonight? That is true about many of the comments that I have noticed after the fact tonight. And usually, you guys got ads. Listen to the music. Bluegrass is out. Good night, Mark. Yes, thank you for the birthday wishes, and I hope that everyone has a great week as well. I will say that again when I'm shutting the thing down, but I hope that you have a good week as well, mister. See you next time. Jim harvested some wintergreen and brought it home, made tea. Tea was a good drink. I only know what wintergreen looks like because Russell showed me at his place. And so I keep sort of like looking for it. Tenenbaum covets various bases I covet. Various Warwicks. Okay. A guy who was my bass teacher for a while. The first few times I saw him playing, he was playing a Warwick thumb. He doesn't anymore. He's got I think 2 Sadowskis. Yeah, he's got a Mike Lull, which is also very nice, and he's got a couple of MTDs. MTD I covet. Those are so handmade that no two match. Wait, let me bring that back. Alembic, wow, yeah, those are expensive. That's that's an old brand too. Mike Tobias, yeah. When he had Tobias, very cool, but he does MT. Well, his son now does MTD, which was Michael Tobias Designs. That's the company he started after Gibson bought Tobias. Oh, a Sandberg. Yeah, Sandbergs are cool. I don't like the shape of that headstock though. I was like, ugh. But yeah, they're expensive. They're all expensive. Oh, the Sandberg is not as much as the Olympics, that's for sure. Well, they've got a couple that are really up there. I've been a sound gear, solid. The doofy bass that I bought to leave in Alberta last year, which was like whatever 450 or 500. It was an Ibanez, not a sound gear. I would have liked a sound gear for an Ibanez, but yeah, solid. Oh, you have one of those aluminum necked Kramers. I didn't know you ever had to adjust the action on those. That bass screams 1980s, man. Jim is asking Russell what kind of trombone he has. He's always played olds, both tenor trombone and bass trombone with the F attachment. Olds is a brand? I never even got to see Russell's trombone. Russell thinks it's a King. Jim says that Kings were pretty popular in our jazz lab. Then you guys got an ad. I put a video. Oh yeah, it was the listen to the music. We play that song, by the way, with my band. Oh, you're having the Evan Williams. It's a celebratory 250th bottle. Steve put it in Discord. 250th of what? Oh, isn't the United States like 250 or some damn thing? Hold on, I'll check out the Discord. In the Pix thread? In the Pix thread. America 250. America. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. gotta hide my face for it to. So I wonder if there's anything special about the whisker, if it's just like the label that gets a colorful treatment. Genuine sour mash, extra aged in oak. Yeah. So one thing I really do like about bourbon is the fact that the rules are so rigid and guarantee quality. If it's like bottled in bond or bonded, or if it's straight or whatever. Oh, because it's America's birthday, right? Isn't that in July? I think it's in July 4th. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. July 4th. Look, I've got a mess of American in-laws. I know this. I know this. I have completely forgotten where I was going. Oh well. Tim Bob says, congratulations. It is now. I don't know. Unless he's talking about America's birthday. Country Way says, looks pretty empty. Someone's having a good time. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I was like, well, that ain't going to make it to July 4th. I hope you have a second. I have reached the end. I've caught up. I have finally caught up. Oh, so it's just the label. Okay. Alrighty then. I'm taking tiny sips here. Oh, you got to back up. Okay, good. Wasn't really that empty, but I got to back up. It looked pretty empty to me. Well, not empty, but you know. I mean, look who. No, I don't have anything super empty with me here. What? Why? Why? Anyways, all that to say, I wonder if I'll ever be able to get a Fodera one day. I think a lot about my fiddler Peter, his grandfather when he was alive. The guy died at like 98 or something, and when he was 92, he got a new car. The guy had always wanted a Cadillac. I think it was. Was it a Lincoln? No, he wanted a Cadillac. Dream car. For me, that is not a dream car. Like, if you're gonna ask me what my dream car would be, what the hell would my dream car be? Jaguar E-Type, Aston Martin DB9, Land Rover Defender, the last model with the little flippies under the windshield. And I would just be driving around with like born free, just sailing out the windows the entire time, imagining I was bounding over the dunes in, well, sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, this is a distraction. Why was I talking about this? His dream car, Cadillac. Guy hits like 92, 94, something like that. And his old car was done. So he buys a new car. And he buys, I think, like an Altima. And Peter said, Grandpa, you can afford the Cadillac. And it's probably your last car. Why didn't you buy the Cadillac? And his grandpa said, because you got to have something to dream for, to dream of, to dream about, to, you need to have something out there. Virtually everyone would have bought the Cadillac. At that point in their life, they can afford it. It's their last car. Virtually everyone would have bought that Cadillac. But he says, because you got to have something to dream for. And I think about that whenever I think of that Fodera. I mean, these days I'm trying to buy more Canadian or British. Anyway, like there's a company in Mississauga, I think, called F Base. It's Joe Furlanetto. They're exquisite too. They're also really expensive. But yeah, it's just like this idea that, you know, you're at the end of your life and you can afford the car you want and you buy something else. Because I believe he was cognizant of the fact that nothing can really live up to the dream. But if you never own the thing, then you don't know that. It doesn't get ruined for you. I mean, I don't know. He's gone now, right? So it's not like I can ask him. Tenenbaum says the sun is rising here. I am not surprised. I know it's rising there. I'm always so impressed with the fact that you stay up that late to hang out with us. I mean, I'm grateful for it because you always bring cool stuff to the conversation. But I'm always impressed that you can, you know, because I fight to get to bed before midnight now. Doctor's orders, and I don't make it very often, but every now and again I do, and I feel like I've accomplished something. You were going down a rabbit hole or up a squirrel tree. Country Boy says, no British cars. You don't have the time to spend under the hood just to keep it running. No, I mean, and especially like Land Rovers are nowhere near what they used to be, right? Since Tata bought the company. But then again, neither is Jeep, right? I am absolutely an easy target for that whole Jeep Life marketing thing. Absolutely. But just like with Land Rovers, I'm not spending that kind of money on something I know is going to let me down. Like if I was to buy a new car tomorrow, say I suddenly had the money for a new car and I went to buy a car. I mean, part of me is like, Rivian, but realistically, it would be preferably a plug-in hybrid or, you know, hybrid, but preferably a plug-in RAV4. That's the pinnacle of what I want right now. The RAV4 has gone from an ugly freaking machine to not bad looking for an SUV. It's Toyota, which is a car company that I respect. And I don't ever want to buy another purely internal combustion car. You know, I mean, there are some hybrid Range Rovers, but there's no plug-in, but there's no hybrid or electric or whatever Defender. I really love the looks of the new Defenders, but I don't want, like with helicopters, they call them hangar queens, right? When they spend more time being repaired than they do on the road or in the sky. That's not the kind of money I spend on something that I know is going to let me down. You know, but the lines of the Jaguar E-Type, the those old Aston Martins too, like before they were like supercar money. TB9, Probably the last of the designs I really liked. The ones they have now are they're too. I mean, they look really road hungry. I get it, but they're too supercar-y. They're way too expensive, and you gotta have something to dream about. That's what I'm wondering about Tenenbaum. It's like, because I had never thought about that. Because to me, like, if I could afford, if I had what some people call fuck off money, okay, if I won 30 mil and I just did not have to care, you know what I would get? I would get one of the, there are these companies that specialize in taking old Defenders and making them really skook them. I would get one of those companies to get me, to take one of those old Defenders with the flippy under the window and make it spectacular inside and put a hybrid motor in it. Because I love that era of Land Rover, but not enough to put a V8 in it, or Corvette engine, or whatever the hell most of these guys are using. I have an ad. Just letting you know, I have an ad. I can skip my ad, which I'm going to do. Did anyone else just get an ad? Oh yeah, but like, I get the idea that the wishing for can be better, because in the item that you're wishing for never lets you down. Like, if I bought the Aston Martin, or if I bought like a brand new Aston Martin, that is hella money. But for the first little while, I'd be like, I got an Aston. Oh my God. And then it just becomes your car. And then maybe it's a $10,000 air conditioning job because the air conditioning failed. He said, because he knows someone who used to own one. But like, it's just your car at a certain point. And maybe you're afraid of it getting it scratched because of what everything on an Aston costs to fix. And I mean, everything. Right? It's the same as like in high school. You covet that girl in class, or for some of you, that boy in class, right? And then you date that person, and you're like, oh my land, she's pretty as they come, but she's dumb as paste. Or, oh dude, he's handsome as a devil, but he's a asshole. Or he's dumb as paste. The dream is ruined. It's ash. It turns to ash right in front of your face. Which is probably why it's good that I'm never going to own a sailboat. Because I don't want that ruined for me. I'm fine crewing on someone else's. I haven't even done that in years because I've got kids now. But I mean, I got to sail. I got to enjoy the feeling of the wind. I got, that moment. If you're a sailor, you know what I'm talking about, where the best moment is where the diesel switches off and the sails go boom, because the motor's off and it's just you and the wind. But that guy throws a lot of money at his boat every year, right? For boats, they say that the two best days of your life as a skipper are when you buy your boat and when you sell your boat, right? Oh my land, it's almost 11. I hope I'm being interesting, at least. Billy Fun Buns, how you doing? Happy pre-birthday wishes. When is your next bushcraft video? As soon as I finally crawl out of this burnout hell that I'm living in. I have one that I shot in January that I want to edit and get up, but I'm just so burnt out. I should get that video up. It's a simple hiking video in the snow, and I'm gonna. I should put that video up. It really kills me that I'm this burnt out because I went to film school and I love the process of making videos, shooting them, yes, but also editing them. I think part of the reason I'm burnt out though is because I never just do it like a really simple edit, just like scene. Like I have to use masking to have the logo appear, and I'm the only one who ever notices it. But I am so burnt out, and I hate the fact that I'm burnt out. Because making videos is supposed to be where my passion lies. I gotta get it out. I gotta get that video out. Country Boy says, Jeeps are garbage. The Pentastar engines are absolute trash. Yeah, like, I live in a town, at least. I don't know about the rest of the country where, like, the only people buying American are the guys who have to have an F-150. And half of those guys are putting a freaking lift kit on it. So they're not using the F-150. Right? They're just showing an F-150. And even like that little, what's that little Jeep called? Is it Renegade? Yes, the Jeep is a Renegade. The Ford, that cool Ford pickup is a Maverick. Or do I have that backwards? No, the Ford's the Maverick. The Jeep is a Renegade. That's not even made in the States. That's made in Italy. And it's the cutest little Jeep. Like that's probably what I would buy if I didn't buy a Wrangler. But the four-door Wrangler is the pinnacle of the Jeep for me. But no, I'm not spending money on something that is just gonna. No. I do love the look, and I love the idea of what the Jeep represents. As I said, I'm an absolute mark for marketing cars like that. Even that Bronco, I love the look of that. I love the fact that you can take the doors off. I mean, that the Bronco is aimed squarely at the Jeep and the Land Rover Defender market for sure. When I heard that the Land Cruiser was coming back, the Toyota Land Cruiser was coming back to Canada, I squealed like a I got weak in the knees. But they've done what all these other guys have done. They've made it a much more luxurious vehicle. It's a lot more expensive. It's not the Land Cruiser that your grandpa bounced across Africa in. It's become a much fancier machine. And I kind of wish it hadn't. I mean, I'm still excited that it's back, but I really wish it was a more basic, very rough and tumble vehicle. I read somewhere that a helicopter typically requires 10 hours of maintenance for each flight hour. I think that you're not wrong. I'm not sure if that ratio is exactly right, but I seem to remember that you're not wrong in general. I should ask my brother. I mean, he's a helicopter pilot for the Royal Canadian Air Force, so he probably knows. Country Boy says, if I had fuck off money, I'd be dead in a week. If I do have that kind of money, there are certain things I would absolutely do and certain things I would not. I would not buy the Aston Martin. I wouldn't. I would buy a still. And I would make some gin and put up some whiskey. Not to sell. Like I would just make hobby scale. Period. and I would set this up to be the studio that I want to do these live streams from, with like a fridge and some glasses behind, so I could do both channels from the same spot. Maybe I do a cocktail live from the studio with a full setup. That kind of stuff I would do. I'd buy the Fodera base. I might buy an F base instead for the next little while, at least. Maybe I wouldn't, though. Like I've really internalized what Peter's grandpa said. Like some things are just like, don't buy everything that you dream of, because then what do you dream about? Mila Kunis. But I mean, aside from that, I'm just being a brat. Like I don't think that everything that moves you needs to be owned by you. The last thing I want is to have 5 bass guitars. I mean, I honed down from several to 2 because I didn't want basses that never went on stage. In the same way as I don't want knives that never come to the woods. He said on a year when he might not get to the woods again. Fuck. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be a collector of anything. I want the tools I have, the axes, the knives, the basses, to all be used, to all be in rotation, at least sometimes. So I wouldn't spend money on buying 5 more axes or a super fancy car. But I would have a still, and I would have that freaking iPad. Billy Funbun says that electric or hybrid cars are the synthetic handles of the axe world. I really don't like synthetic handles. Uh-oh. Tenenbaum, what did you post? He said, opening it in a new tab for later. So like I work in technology, right? So I'm a technologist. This means 2 things. One, I write on paper whenever I'm not at work anymore because I need something real in my life. But B, the internal combustion engine is a century old. It's at the end of the places it can go, whereas the electric and hybrid engines are at the start of where they can go. And they're already pretty damn good, like in terms of torque and stuff like that. And I don't want to send all my money to Saudi Arabia, right? I mean, it's expensive to fill a car now. I mean, it's $2 a liter here. I have no idea how that even transitions to American pricing, because you guys do gallons, and like the way you guys calculate mileage is it miles to the gallon, whereas we do liters per 100 kilometers. So like I have no idea how any of that information transitions across the border. But to me, the perfect 2-car setup for my family would be 1 hybrid and 1 electric. The electric just for bombing to work and back, or going to the shopping and back, blah, blah, blah. And then a hybrid because, the Madame's family is all in rural Quebec, New York City, Miami, I think, or Haiti, right? But we're not driving to Haiti. I may want to drive to Toronto or drive to, say, Russell's place to Wild Camp or something, or Wild Camp somewhere in Northern Ontario or whatever. And like in all those instances, I don't want an electric, right? There's where I want a hybrid, so that when the electric goes like, hey, I'm peacing out until you can plug me in or whatever, that you've still got a gas engine. You're not going to have the performance of of a full electric or a full internal combustion engine. But I'm also not doing donuts in the parking lot at 3 a.m. Right? I'm not booting down the auto route at like 120 or anything like that. I don't care. So long as the car can get itself up a hill and there's a little bit of pickup, I'm happy. Right? I don't feel any sort of the testosterone connection with cars the way some people do. I just don't want it to feel totally sluggish, right? And for that reason, like, I don't need a manual either. I don't care. You know, when I was taking when my buddy Robin was taking his lessons, he took a bunch of the normal lessons, and then he took a couple of standard lessons, sort of as part of the package deal. And on his first lesson for driving standard, he was told that in the automatic lessons, you learn to drive a car. In the standard lessons, you learn to operate a motor vehicle. And they're a little different. I think that within Quebec, you can get really far on an electric because the infrastructure for charging stations and stuff is pretty robust. But I don't want to take that chance if I'm going camping for 5 days, right? Whereas if I'm going to work or shopping or downtown for a show or something, there are electric stations everywhere in this town. So I don't have to worry. Boats are a hole in the water you throw money into. Absolutely, but I do love to sail. A good way to get through my burnout and edit that video is to body double it. We could both work on our videos Thursday night. Just do it in Discord. That is actually a fucking brilliant. Why did I look that way? Why did I look that way? Like, you guys are all over there looking over my shoulder, or like YouTube is like waiting to demonetize me from over there. Why did I? Excuse me. But anyway, that's not a bad idea. Not at all. Post it. What am I posting? The video. Yes, I will get it done, and I will get it up. You'd buy a stealth bomber. Where are you gonna park that? It is crazy how many like Hollywood guys have like a MiG-29 or a decommissioned F-16 or something though. Like, why? I don't know. Because I like to fly, dude. Fine, but I do kind of think the MiG-29 is sexy as hell though. Anyway, moving right along. Jim agrees. You have a diesel? Diesel is expensive too, though. Eh? The thing about diesel is, man, it didn't have to be what it is. Like when diesel, not Vin, came up with diesel, he was creating it out of like peanut oil, and the industry took him out, man. The industry took him out, and they took his technology and turned it into just another freaking fossil fuel thing. Christy works at home. I work at home some days a week, 2 days a week. Peanut Trugger been listening. Happy birthday. Good night, everyone. Stay safe. Happy trails. Good night to you too, mister. Also, drive safe. For sure. Because he says, stop shitting on my Fiskars. They do what they're supposed to. They really do it quite well at an affordable price, and I don't care about throwing it in the back of my truck and having it bounce around. I have a Fiskars. it says Gerber on it, but they're made by Fiskars, right? That the hollow synthetic handle. I use it as my grubbing axe. If it was very useful for when I was trying to get a stump out of my backyard, and I'd just be like down there chopping through the roots. There's no way I would do that with my Swedish axes. But the Fiskars, I mean, with the Chinesium steel, bloody easy to sharpen, right? But look, a lot of people have Fiskars. Like up north of 60, that guy uses a Fiskars, and he's perfectly happy with it. My hands are very sensitive to shock transmission, though, partly because I've got like arthritis in my wrists and all that. Like I like how hickory deadens the shock when you go thunk into a tree. Yeah, Fiskars makes a great truck axe for that reason. Russell says, "Oh, I didn't finish my thought. Take the stealth bomber. Use fiberglass and carbon fiber to build a Millennium Falcon around the stealth bomber." Oh, I like the cut of your jibe, mister. I see where you're going. I see the power behind your thoughts. That's your birthday, though, says Christy. Jesus, just looked stage right. Yeah, I totally didn't. I don't know why the hell I did that. I was like, oh, I used the word fuck on YouTube. Why did I just do that? L39 Albatross. A bit of a deep cut, isn't there? Isn't it? Isn't it, though? Bam, bam, bam. I'm just going to make sure that that is what I thought it is. Start again. I'm just going to make sure that that's what I think it is. Yep. So that's a training plane. They're check. So we have an aerial dance, whatever, you know, those squadrons that do tricks at air shows and stuff, right? With the smoke coming out and they do all this, called the snowbirds. They're extremely highly thought of. They were using the CF, what is it, 133, the Tudor? Beautiful little craft. They're like 50 or 60 years old now, though, and they're getting expensive to run. So they're getting rid of those. In fact, the squadron is grounded until the 2030s when they get their new planes, which are turboprops. It's that Swiss thing, whatever it's called. It's a training plane. But I would be happier if they had gone with something like this, with the Albatross. Yeah. Because for doing tricks, a training plane is fine. When Diesel, not Vin. Oh, that was me, right? Okay, so body doubling, Jim, is something I use a lot, like when I have to clean my office or whatever. In fact, there's a site called Focus Friend that you can sign up for free for up to 3 sessions a week, where you sign up for you set a time, you show up at your time, and you get paired with somebody. And you're like, hey there, what are you doing? Oh, you're doing homework. I'm cleaning. And you just say, see you on the other side. And you turn off your mics and you just do your stuff. And because this is a neurodivergence thing. Body doubling allows you to get stuff done that would overwhelm you if you did not have somebody sitting there near you. And I remember when I dumped the woman I was with before my current life partner, who I've been with for like 2 decades now. I needed to clean. I needed to change my room because it looked too much like my previous girlfriend. And I just asked my life partner to just come over and sit in the room while I do the work. She's like, "What?" But it's just having somebody there made the work go easier. And this site helps me do that. And that's why I love the idea that Russell brought up, is that maybe if he's just there on Discord while I'm trying to do my stuff and he's doing his, then maybe I'll be able to overcome the burnout and get a video edited. Because for me, someone like me, body doubling is the difference between getting it done and failing to get it done. Everyone's got an ad but me. Did I get an ad? I do not know. Oh, shite. We are at 11:03. So I'm going to shut her down here. Thanks for hanging out with me for my pre-birthday live stream. And I hope to see you all next week. Between now and next week, everybody, please, for your own sakes and mine, be safe, be sane, be healthy, and be kind to one another. And be kind to one another. Good night, everyone.